I made this tool to make the texture for a grater plate and bowls. As you can see, it's in the shape of a gear, and in the middle it's like tube shaped with a little overhang on each end so that the gear doesn't slide all the way through, so it stays and it spins. As you can see, I have already shaped my plate, and I like to use some soft foam on my wheel head, but if you don't have any, you can definitely just put it directly on the wheel or any kind of a bat. And then you want to center your plate. And what I like to do is I take a Sharpie marker or anything that can make a mark, and the marker is just going to burn off in the kiln, so you're not going to see it. But I like to just make a little guide to know where to start. So I'm going to take my tool, and there's a couple ways to use it, and I'm going to tilt it slightly so that the edges will hit the clay. So I start at the outer edge, and I just gently push down, and then I move my hand towards the center. Okay, and so you can see it's raised up, and it's just gently raised. You don't see spikes. The other way to do it is just leave it straight up and down pretty much, so that the surface of the clay will hit the entire edge of the gears that are sticking out. So you're just pushing down and moving towards the center. You can see the texture is a little bit different than this one. So it's just personal preference. How do you like your grater plates to look? They'll still both work. You don't need sharp edges. Sometimes people get confused. They want them to be spiky edges, that's what you don't want, because once you glaze it, it's gonna cut somebody as they're using it. So you just want the indents on there, and that's enough to grate the garlic or grate ginger or zest or grate some hard cheeses, whatever you're doing. Okay, so 2 ways to use it. One that's angle, and then one just up and down straight. And I suggest that you just play around with it, see which ones you like. Do both of them, fire both of them, see which one you like the best. This is what you don't want to do. You can see that I'm pushing down quite hard and moving it back and forth a lot to create like a deep texture in the plate. You can see how much more rough this is and how much more raised that glaze is, and what that's going to do is once you glaze it, it's going to become spiky, and that's what you don't want, because then it'll be too sharp once it's glazed. So if you don't have a wheel, you can use any kind of a turntable, and same thing, you can choose to whatever type of angle you'd like to do. Applying pressure, spinning the wheel as you start to move the tool towards the center. There you go. If you don't have a turntable, you can just roll it back and forth. And your plate or bowl doesn't always have to be round, right? You can use any kind of shape that you want, geometric or organic, whatever you want to do. I kind of just shape this in a shape of a leaf a little bit, and the texture that you do doesn't have to be in a circle as well. Just go back and forth this way. up and down. And that's the texture you get. You can even go over it like one more time. Right, and that's going to give somebody enough texture to grate their garlic or their ginger, whatever they're wanting to do. And then all you have to do, just rinse it off with some water and towel dry it or air dry it, whatever you prefer to do. My final advice is just experiment, have some fun with it, and see what you can create.